You can read about it. It's only when you actually go to different regions, it's a completely different DNA. This isn't just about flavour profiles, it's about cultural understanding. Because we're in a very unique space, it carries responsibility within Chinese communities. I'm Andrew Wong, and today we're going to make a crispy wonton with spiced carrots and sweet chili sauce. So we have the prawns here. We take a few bits off the ends, and then we smash the prawn up like this. Chinese kitchen, most chefs will not carry around 50 knives. You normally have one cleaver for like cutting through bone, you have one for like veg, and then one for everything else. We add some of the seasoning in. We've got some white pepper, we've got a little bit of stock powder, a little bit of sugar, some oil, which I'm going to put more on. And actually, our dim sum chef at the moment loves shallots oil. Okay, we have to put extra just for her. Mix it up. And now what we need to do is you need to turn it into a paste. And the way that you turn it into a paste is, first of all, you add a little bit of water. Sometimes we will infuse the water with ginger. And if you want to get into like a bouncy paste, which is what you want, you have to basically do this. Okay. That's pretty much a paste now, if you look at it. The mouthfeel, when you steam this up, it's going to have bounce to it, which is what you want. But you want it to have bounce, but not be like a rubbery ball, which is why we cut off the tail end bits of the prawn and put it in to basically still give it some bite. So now this is going to be that mixture here. We're just going to leave that to chill before we wrap. We're not using our terminology. Dim sum pâtissier. Mei-Lan is in charge of our dim sum at restaurant A.Wong. So Mei-Lan has joined us after years and years and years and years of experience. So this is normally done in front of the guests. So the area you're sitting in now is basically the presentation part of the dim sum section. Mei-Lan, Esther and Gloria will be downstairs during the day. And guests, when they come down, they'll chat to the team about the dim sum.
You can close one side, put the flour salt, and then close like that.
So just to finish off the dish, we're going to fry the wontons. So you drain them off. You put a little bit of sweet chili sauce inside. And this really is an homage to the original. Put our carrots on here. Dust them very lightly. We open up a little bit of our spice mix on top. Put the wontons nicely like so. And there we have the crispy wonton with spiced carrots and sweet chili sauce. Watching the team develop and watching them become more independent and have them become better than I am at a lot of the skills within the restaurant. Come on, Esther, come help me. It's really about embracing that level of skill that we have within the team. And allowing them to express themselves and allowing them to have that autonomy and have that independence to shine and to develop themselves. The second dish that we're going to make today, mushroom buns, a classic dim sum. So just talk you through the ingredients. We have a variety of different mushrooms that have been diced up. So first things first, we're going to season our wok, and then we're going to put some fresh oil in. And then we're going to put some ginger. So this is part of the dim sum menu. So in the morning, in the afternoon, sorry, for lunch, we only serve dim sum. It's really about celebrating that energy of going for dim sum in in southern China. The ideal filling is one that has bite, but it still has enough sauce so that it can be a moist mouthfeel when you eat the fluffy bun with the bounciness of the mushroom. I think, you know, in all honesty, I don't know why people use Western pans. I think, you know, this whole system of having a water reservoir with really, really fierce heat means that, you know, we can cook 900 dishes in our service without having to constantly move pans to the pot wash all the time. It's really, really efficient. Seaweed powder. Put that onto a tray, just to cool down. And that's the filling done. Perfect. Let's go down to the dim sum kitchen and we're gonna make now the bun dough for the mushroom buns. So what do we have? Some low gluten flour, which is a flour which is specifically brought in for us from Hong Kong. It makes super fluffy dough. We have some warm water, some yeast, baking powder, some sugar, and some butter. The one thing that I find sometimes is that a lot of chefs, they don't let the buns proof enough. They get overzealous and they put it into the steamer before it's really proofed properly, and with that you won't get the super light, airy finish, which I feel is the most, or if not one of the most important aspects of eating steamed buns. Normally if we make a larger portion I would use a mixer, but because it's such a small quantity that we're using today, it's actually easier just to do it by hand. Also, it's nice, you know, occasionally it's nice to go back to basics, go back to making it the way before there were machines to do everything. Put it into a bowl, cover it, and then we leave it to proof. It's kind of doubled or tripled in size. So as it's proofed, it's got a lot smoother, it's got a lot airier, and it's become a lot softer. Come on, Esther, come and help me. Because I don't do it every single day anymore, you lose that touch, and it's very much about, you know, occasionally I'll go down and we'll be doing it together, but it's something you have to do every day. Get back into the swing of it. And as much as I'd love to go back to China for 6 months and disappear off the face of the earth and just make dim sum again for 6 months, unfortunately it's not possible, because the staff canteen start calling, saying, "Where's Andrew? We need to shoot a video." The speed at which the dim sum teams work at is absolutely incredible. Yeah. We've had European chefs who've tried to come in and learn dim sum. They failed miserably. And you think, right, if you go into a pastry chef nowadays, there's molds, you know, there's so many different tools that are available to create that consistency, but still, like dim sum kitchens around the world, consistency is very much based still on the handcraft of the individual. So we've got the bun, it's been proofed for about, half an hour? Probably about 4 grams of filling in. And then we're just gonna go around and pleat round and seal it. We like to add a finishing touch to make them look like little chestnut mushrooms. We mix up a powder of chocolate and mushroom powder just to dust the buns in before steaming them. There are buns here which we double proofed, dusted in the mushroom and cocoa powder. What we're gonna do, we're gonna put it on the steamer now, and we're gonna steam it for about 4.5 minutes. Steaming in Western cookery is just this idea that you have a pan of water underneath and you're just boiling it with produce above us. That is steaming. But actually within the Chinese kitchens, we have like lots of different types of steaming. Depending on the end product that we want or the dish that we're cooking, depending on how vigorous we want the steam. So some things we want like a gentle steam. Other things that are very important, like buns, have a really fierce steam. So even if you put this over a pan of water, it might not be necessarily harsh enough with the steam in order to get the bun to really fluff up properly. And here we have our A.Wong mushroom buns. I feel like within Chinese gastronomy, if you compare it to other cuisines within the UK, I feel like we probably haven't changed as much as others. Because they're so accustomed and so kind of attached to it, they haven't allowed Chinese cuisine to really blossom. I feel like there's so much of China that has been left untapped still, because people still want to go and order sweet and sour chicken, and they want to go and order spring rolls, which is great. But I feel like there is something there. You know, China is a massive country, and I feel like if we allowed ourselves to tap into those areas that haven't been explored yet, that people's understanding of Chinese food would be amazingly increased. And at the same time, what you'll get as an end product will also be so much more fruitful in its diversity, flavor profiles, cultural understanding, and, you know, the end result of the dishes and the restaurants as a result.